Well, a very good day and welcome to the Oler Fergus podcast. I'm Ryan Joyce.
And I'm Barb Evoy.
And today we are talking to Randy Graham, who is the president of the Fergus Legion Branch 275. And of course, our listeners see the representation from the Fergus Legion all over the place. We get to see them at the parades and the Scottish festival. They always have their presence there. And the Legion does great things throughout the community. And so today we want to shed a little bit of light on some of those things and bring some spotlight to our very own Legion. So, well, first of all, Randy, it's been a great year coming up. We're wrapping things up here. What's the next month look like for the Fergus Legion?
Well, you might say we're wrapping things up, but actually we're gearing things up because tomorrow starts the Poppy campaign, which is a busy time of the year. And we remember all year, but this is when we showcase our remembrance in the Poppy campaign.
That's a big deal. I think by the time this airs, it'll be a little bit after tomorrow. So the Poppy campaign actually starts on October 31st and goes through until, correct me if I'm wrong, November 10th, or does it end on the 10th or the 11th?
It basically ends with sundown on the 11th.
Perfect. Can we talk for a minute about poppies, Randy? Actually, this wasn't in our list, Ryan, but you may not know this. I had the very good fortune. First of all, I'm honored to be, my husband and I, to be Legion members. But Randy, talk to us a little bit about the wearing of the poppy, because I've been grateful to have been taught, that you're meant to wear it only on your jacket, not on your hat, not on your mitt, not on your scarf, on your left-hand side, and that you should take it off after the 11th. Is that correct? And would you like to add to that at all?
No, you've pretty well hit it on the nail, Barb. Of course, the poppy started way back from the poppies in Flanders Field, and then the Legion way back when adopted it as the symbol of remembrance. And the protocol, as per the Dominion Command of the Royal Canadian Legion, is it is only worn the last Friday in October is the start, and it ends at sundown on the 11th. And you're only to wear them on the left side over your heart, as I say, over your heart of your jacket or shirt. You do not wear it anywhere else. You don't put it on your hat. You don't put it on a scarf, things like that. So that's the protocol for properly wearing a poppy.
Amazing. See, Ryan, I learned something.
Always learning, me too. And of course, November 11th is the important day that the whole campaign leads up to, and the Minute of Silence ceremony on November 11th, of course. And we have events both in Fergus and Elora, but when do people start to assemble on the 11th here at the Fergus Cenotaph? When does that start to take place?
Well, our jurisdiction here is we handle the Cenotaph services at Fergus and Belwood.
Okay.
And in Belwood, they always have their service after the church service on the Sunday before Remembrance Day. So this year it'll be on Sunday the 9th. And so we lay wreaths out there as well. Reverend Shelley does the services. This year we're actually going to be joined by the Grand Celtic Pipe Band, and they're gonna pipe in our color party and pipe out the color party when the service is over. So that's on the 9th. Of course, the Fergus Cenotaph is on the 11th. And we start that with our parade from the Legion. It'll depart from the Legion about 25 to or 20 to 10, or to 11, I'm sorry. And we'll march up there, assemble the color party, assemble the Legion of the firefighters, color guards, and then we start the service. And of course, we stop right at 11 o'clock to do the actual service. And we continue on with the laying of the wreaths at the Cenotaph. And then we conclude, we march back to the Legion, and all members and guests are invited to come into the branch to have some fellowship and a drink.
There you go.
That's how we do it.
And those in the area, of course, hopefully have come out to the Cenotaph on November 11th. And there's also the beautiful representation on the front lawn of the Wellington County Museum and Archives. 2 or 3 things that you can check out in November. And of course, you guys, as the Legion, do events all year long, of course, supporting community events, but you also host events. Could you talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you guys do throughout the year?
Well, throughout the year, we have one of our chair, Brian Bilby, is our chair of special events, and he plans a lot of activities. We try and target the various special days like St. Patrick's Day. We've got a Halloween dance coming up on the 31st. We do our New Year's Eve dance and entertainment, and that's been very popular over the last little while. Pardon me. Of course, you mentioned the Fergus Scottish Festival. We get involved in that. And then the big thing with our hall or our new Riverside Events Center is making it available for the community for weddings or stag and does or celebrations of life, birthday parties, you name it.
Yeah, and actually you touched on that. So let's chat a little bit about that. For those that might not be familiar, there's a little bit of changes happening there. So the space is now a little bit more available and it's got a new name, I guess. Is that talk a little bit about it?
Well, that whole initiative started probably about 3 or 4 years ago when we put a group together to form a strategic planning committee. And we actually did surveys in the town, we did surveys around our members, and what we identified was there was a real need in this community for a community center. Everybody was familiar with the Legion, but we wanted to address it and make it more appealing to the wider population, if you will. So corporate events, corporate meetings, so on and so forth. And that stimulated us to think maybe we have to kind of move away a bit from the Legion Hall. And that's when we came up with the name. And that was by a members survey and competition. And that's when we come up with Riverside Events Center. And so the event center basically is broad, like whatever events you're thinking of. And we've got some interesting things coming up in the new year that I think I'll take it away from the common things that had gone on. And one of them, I won't let any more out of the bag, but there's one's even a wrestling event. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I say just to say that we're broadening our appeal to the community.
Yeah, because a part of that broadening the appeal is, we've talked about it a lot, about how the Legion is not just for veterans and their fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers. The Legion is now, you're trying to make it a place and a space for everyone.
Exactly.
Can you talk a little bit about that, Randy? Because that's new to a lot of people's ears.
Well, I mean, we all know the history of the Legion and what it was founded on, but things are changing. We're losing a lot of our older veterans. We're losing a lot of our older members. And regardless of how hard you try, Legions still have a stigma of being a bar for old folks. And we want to try and change that. We've now got dart leagues going on. We've got a shuffleboard in the club room. Things are really trying to attract the youth to it. And of course, you can see what's happening in the Legion. Back when I joined the Legion, you basically had to have a relative who was in the military, right? You no longer need that. You can just walk in and say, you know what, I'm thinking of joining the Legion. And you basically can join the Legion, pay your dues, and join in the fun.
So you're a service club, Randy. Can you talk, like I just learned that, like you're a service club. You're not just the Legion.
We're actually, if you will, the largest service club across Canada. And we're service from the standpoint of, well, there's 3 basic templates of the objects of the Legion. Obviously, it's to remember those who sacrificed to give us the freedoms we enjoy today. Secondly, it's to look after those veterans who have paid a price, either physically or mentally, or even socially, as far as needs for them and their families. The Legion stands behind them and we will support veterans. And a veteran does not have to be a member of a Legion. If somebody knows of a veteran that is in need, they just have to contact their local Legion. We all have veteran services officers, and they will put them in touch with needs, anything from hearing aids to, sometimes even a winter coat for their child or something. And then the third thing is the education of youth to make sure that the Legion's foundations are never forgotten. And therein lies one of our big things is our poster and literary competition, which goes out to all schools, even homeschool children, to participate and give them an opportunity to learn more about the Legion and carry on the understanding and the remembrance of why we're here. Incidentally, this year, a couple of new initiatives that came down from other branches in the Legion is one's called the Red Shirt Program. And sub-legions do this all year round. So every Friday, Legion members or guests are invited to wear a red shirt. And the red comes from the acronym Remember Everyone Deployed.
Oh.
So that's where the red comes from. The other initiative I think was great, and we're talking about it here at the branch, and in our newsletters we're going to be sending out information, is called No Stone Left Alone. And that's inviting, pardon me, I think I've got somebody hibernating in my throat. And that No Stone Left Alone, it invites families, their children, to decorate a stone and place it on a grave of a family member who was a veteran and has passed away. And so they're welcome to go up to Belwood, Belwood Cemetery, and place a stone. And if you've been at the Cenotaph over the last few years, you'll see some of the stones that show up at the Cenotaph that school children have painted. Well, we're encouraging them to go out into the cemetery because they may have a great-grandfather or a grandfather, a grandmother, or whatever, who was in the service, and they can place a decorated stone on their grave. So we're kicking that off this year, adding it to our Remembrance Services.
Well, I think
On the go. That's a lot of things happening, not only just in the next 30 days, but also in the year ahead.
do and continue to do does not go unnoticed.
Thank you so much, Randy, for sharing some insights on all of the incredible things that's happening here at the very own Fergus Legion.